And Ronnie Olson, relieved on Ronnie Olson after beating Huntington. Ronnie, I know you probably weren't real pleased with the way you played. Huntington is a very good team, but they took you right down to the wire. It's kind of ironic that on senior night, Amar had 30, whatever he had,
Wow, I had that many, yeah.
and Jack made the 2 free throws. But your seniors all contributed as they always do, and you ended up getting the win.
Yeah. Jaden made some big free throws too. He made 2, and he's
Right.
hadn't been the best free throw shooter on the team. He made some huge ones down the stretch. It's senior night, but it's not senior game. So underclassmen stepped up. Amar, Jackie. Cam struggled with a shot early and then went down with an injury, and he had a big bucket and steal in the end. Big rebound, and so
Yeah, his bucket and rebound, and I think he had back to back. He had a 3 and a 2 and a rebound in between. I mean, that flourish right there really. I mean, it gave you a 3-point lead, and they did cut it down, but you were able to keep that.
Yeah,
That was a big flourish for him
it
before
was.
he went down.
It was, and we won. That's all I got to say about it as far as the way we played, because we didn't play well, but we played good enough to win.
They really owned the boards in the first half. They had 6. They said 6 offensive rebounds. I'd be shocked if it wasn't 12 when the final stats come out on this one.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, they really controlled the boards, and then again hit every shot. Those 2 things really kept them in the game.
Yeah, I mean, but a lot of their shots weren't contested. So high schoolers are going to make those shots. That's on us. And the offensive rebounding is all about us thinking that we've been dominating on the glass and this is going to come to you every night, and it's not, because they outwilled and outworked us on the glass tonight. I'm really disappointed in that aspect of the game. I think we gave up before we charted with 7 offensive rebounds in the first half. That's a lot, they did their damage on us. I thought we rebounded better in the second half as a unit, but you're not going to beat many people. We couldn't guard, we couldn't contest, and we couldn't rebound. That's that right there. If there's a recipe to lose, that's a recipe to lose right there.
Well, at the end of the day, then I think that really Amar shooting and Braden to some extent really kept you in the game.
Amar stepped up, and it took him a minute to get going because it was probably weird for him coming off the bench. But he stepped up big on the glass. He drove. He was driving in between guys. Euro stepping through him, and he stepped up big. Braden was Braden, obviously, and because some of those other guys were sleepwalking. But like I said, those underclassmen played well tonight, and Amar stepped up for us. Amar.
What about his progression? I mean, he's really. You look at his big games. Fairmont game, he was huge. Had 30+ points in them.
Yeah.
No, we got number 14 in 4A in here. He's got 30+ points again.
I've been saying it, man. He's going to be state best player in the state next year. You know what I mean? And I love Braden is I feel is the best player in the state this year. I feel like we have the best player in the state next year in Amar, and his progression has been the evolution of our team as far as being able to guard us. And you look to Braden, you're going to guard, and Cam for the first time struggled from the 3-point line a little bit tonight, but Amar stepped in, and that's what good teams do. On the offensive end, I really thought that we were balanced again. Guys are going to struggle, but Amar stepped up, and he said he had 30.
Yeah, 30, but it was plus 30. I think.
30, that's big against a team like that. They're quick, they guard, you know what I mean? So that was big, and he helped wield us to a win tonight for sure. And like I said, he's going to be a Division I type player.
When you're down, you don't get behind here very often. The stats speak for themselves. It's 33 straight wins, 31 for this group of seniors. I think your winning percentage here is like 94%. You get down, and it was in the fourth quarter. What do you tell your team there? Because it's uncharted territory.
It's
even with the schedule you play.
It's pretty simple. Get stops. I felt like once again, and we scored 74 points, right? 77, whatever.
Yeah.
It's a lot of points in a high school basketball game, and we gave up a ton as well. But all night, I felt like anybody was watching felt like we get what we wanted as well on the offensive end. But man, we worked all week on the defensive end, and we just didn't buy in today, and I'm really disappointed in that.
Is that maybe the evolution of this team too? I know that if you had given up 74 points last year or the year before, you probably would be having a cow right now. Narland probably not even wanting to talk about it because, I know defense is your thing, but it seems like with this team now, it's kind of transitioning to a team that can put up 70.
No,
70.
it's not who we are, and it's not what we want to be, and that's not.
Isn't it?
And that's who we that's who we can be, but that's not our identity, and that's not what we're going. That's not how we're going to win a state championship, and that's what we turned into last year a little bit towards the end, and that's why we
A
were
team that wants to score rather than
and
get
a finesse
stopped.
team, and that's not what That's not what we're going to be, and that's not how we're going to win a state championship. And we put it on the board tonight. One thing is a constant, and no matter what changes, defense is going to win championships. Defense is going to get you there in the end. Yeah, offense. You get stops. You get stop after stop, and you wear people.
You don't want to
out.
have to outscore people. You want to stop them.
Because you're gonna depend on them missing shots. No, you want to depend on you making every shot. No, you want to depend on things you can control, and that's the defensive and effort type.
In that respect, is this maybe a good game then for a teaching point going into the postseason?
I don't want to say toot my own horn, but this game was set up for this reason alone. This reason alone is to let's test ourselves going in the postseason. Let's see what we're not going to come in and bring a cupcake in on the last game of the season anymore. We've got to, see where we're at, where we stand, what we're going to do when things go wrong. And, I like that we won. I like the resolve we had, but I just didn't like the way that we weren't able to, come from timeouts to the floor when we change things, to halftime when we change things. And, they're going to have to, they are cognizant of it, but they're going to have to quit talking about it and do it. And just, we can't just play one style of basketball, and you've got it. Games change. Tempo changes. They change offenses. They change defenses. We've got to be able to do that, and this game was set in place for that reason. I wanted Huntington the last game of the season, right before the sectionals. We knew sectionals was going to be next week last year when I put this game in place. No practice. Let's play one of the best teams in the state, and this helped us. And the film's going to help us. The game's going to help us. The conditioning's going to help us. And ultimately, I wanted to win, but if we lost that game, I was fine with it because it wasn't going to change anything next week.
Ronnie, I appreciate it.